We just stopped here, saw a couple little tarpons rolling, saw one pop, casted this little swim bait, and he inhaled it. These guys thrive here. I mean, it's a little habitat for them where they can grow up, get big before heading out to the ocean to do their spawning.
Here we go. Slide them over here, I'll grab them for you. Nice. That was perfect. We just rolled out, saw a couple pops. So we deployed the raptors. We're just sitting here. It's shallow. It's real shallow. Matter of fact, the first couple casts, we're picking up grass on our jigs.
These satellite imaging charts now, you can see where all the channel markers are, the depth contour. You can see the deep parts, the shallow parts. You can zoom in here and you'll have a little bar that'll tell you what stage of the tide you're in. As you can see, that little square right there, it's in red, which means it's an outgoing tide. It says 1, so we're a foot below water level right now. And on the incoming, it'd be highlighted in blue. And you can see where that tide's gonna be at throughout the day.
In a saltwater, we fish tides, and the stronger the tide, the better the bite. This is a great way, it's right on the unit. So I go home, I can actually go right to tides. It's calculating our area right now. It'll provide us with the exact tide for our area. And if we want to slide it up, we can see when it's going to start coming in time. We have a pretty good incoming, so I'm feeling like, as the day progresses and we get into this incoming tide, it's really a steep angle. So that should be a good bite. So the fish here relate to that to bring food to them. So if they have to swim around and catch it, they're burning a lot of calories. If they're letting the tide bring food to them, it's way more efficient.
Right now, what we're doing is just following this shoreline, pitching at snook underneath these bushes. We're looking for them underneath these little pockets in the mangroves, and we're just using the trolling motor to kind of ease our way in. There he is. A lot of these fish are going to look for ambush points. So these mangroves are one example. You have current flowing food right into them. So these fish are just positioned in little points, cutoffs inside the mangroves where they can just flee out, ambush, any kind of prey, and pretty much get an easy meal. All we do is little swim bait with a jig head, pitch it right into the mangroves. Once we spot these fish, just give it a couple little twitches, working back to us, and game on.
Oh, here we go. There he is. Coming in. There we go. Hello, little guy. What's up, dude? All right. Nestor. Woo. It's fun.
Just going down that shoreline.
Yeah, it's
spotting these fish, pitching at them.
It's really fun because you have to be a pretty good caster too. It's fun.
Whenever you throw that sight fish factor into the game, it makes it that much funner.
Oh yeah. We're sneaking along here. We're seeing some of these fish both with our eyes and on our hummingbird side imaging, and they're pretty tight to the mangroves. For me, this is a combination of hunting and fishing. So we're skipping, we call it, and we're just basically pitching way back up as far as we can in the mangroves, slightly up tide of the fish, where it's gonna come out around his ambush point. He's gonna see it. It's just gonna look like a minnow swimming out very naturally. The key is the correct presentation. They don't like anything coming behind them, up on them by surprise. It'll spook them. Even a big snook will spook on a little bait like this. And if you're from up north and you're a bass fisherman, a lot of the tackle and lures interchange. And most of my really, really good snook anglers that come down from up north are really good bass anglers. They can cast, they know how to present a bait. They get all this makes sense in their head. So it's real simple. Little 3-inch shad tail represents a lot of the stuff swimming around out of here. Natural color I like to go with. It just looks like what you see swimming around. So we just keep it simple and have fun. Nice.
Hey, good minute. I can't flip this guy. A little better fish.
A little better fish. You can see paper thin. So if you give them too much slack, there's a really good chance that that's going to happen. So, yeah, very cool. Snook are one of my favorites. See how his eyes are on top? He's always kind of looking up. Big mouth. They flare these gills and they suck that bait in. So you'll hear a snook, we call it a pop. And that's usually when he's flaring those gills and opening that big mouth, and he'll suck that bait in all the way to the back of his mouth. Razor sharp gill plates. Serrated. You never want to grab them like this. They can really cut you. So we'll get this guy back in the water. So this is a great example of, we're kind of at the bottom of the outgoing tide, and what we have is a shallow flat and then a deep channel up against this island. And this is something that happens a lot. When the water flows by these shorelines, it'll kind of work out a little bit of a channel. And as the tide drops, the fish that are on this flat are going to fall into the deeper water. It just consolidates the areas that you're looking for the fish.
For my everyday use down here in the Everglades, I'm using a 4,000 size Iowa. Has a little bigger gear than a 3,000, a little more line retrieval ratio. That drag when horsing these fish out of those mangroves, it's definitely key. So a 7-foot rod skipping to the mangroves is what I like. If I'm doing a little sight fishing out in the open, a 6-foot rod comes into play a little better. I like a medium to medium heavy. It all depends on the size of the fish you're catching, how much torque you want to be able to ease them out of those trees. So day in and day out, a 3-inch little paddle tail will cover pretty much anything you want to target. Depending on the size of the fish, if you're targeting bigger fish, bigger snook, bigger tarpon. 1/4 ounce jig head to a 1/8 ounce jig head, depending on the depth you're fishing. We have 20-pound braid, 30-pound leader. We'll jump up to 50-pound leader and 60-pound leader, depending on how heavy of a cover we're fishing. So down here, you don't have to get too technical. Works great. We've caught plenty of fish on this simple little setup. So there's not much to it. It's just getting out here and, spending time and having fun. We're just working our way down the shoreline, seeing what we mark. Here you can see the shark on the screen on the left side, just inside 25 feet. And right in front of him, you can see the school of mullet, the little dots. And he's just kind of following that school of mullet.
There he is.
Waiting for something to eat.
Oh, get in here, baby.
As soon as that snook came out of the bushes, that shark was right in the area. He just turned around and grabbed that snook from us.
What's really cool today is we're going to do a lot of different things in this boat that we never could have done before these technologies existed. When I first started guiding, I had a little 18-foot skiff. This is what we needed for back here. We had short shaft trolling motors, not a lot of power. Before that, I was using a push pole. Pushing it with a stick is hard. It's fun, but you're limited. That's what you did. Now we're in a 27-foot boat. We're snook fishing this shoreline, and we're probably gonna be running offshore later today and using the trolling motor for all of it. I like being in this big, comfortable boat. And now we have up to 100-inch shaft trolling motors, Raptors. We can do a lot of things nowadays in these bigger boats that we never could have done before.
You have him on, keep breathing, keep breathing.
Oh, that's a big one. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Get him, Nestor.
Woo! Come on, dude. Come on.
Oh, yes!
Kyle's working hard. Hey, Snook. Well, I knew you guys were taking a little break there, and I was like, well, I see like 20 of them.